Welcome back. Yes, it's true. I love to spend time here in the Conversation Corner. Here's our next topic. Cleta Mitchell, an attorney who played an off-again, on-again role in President Trump's attempt to overturn the valid and multiple times confirmed 2020 election, says the president could declare a national emergency to influence future elections. David Becker joins me now. He's the CBS News election law expert, executive director of the Center for Election Innovation and Research, and co-author of a most outstanding book called The Big Truth. He was my co-author. I was his co-author. David, talk to us about this possible declaration of a national emergency.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Cleta Mitchell has been spreading conspiracy theories about elections for some time. She was literally in the room with President Trump during that famous call in 2021 with this Georgia Secretary of State saying, "Find me 11,780 votes." And she recently said that the president could declare a national election security emergency or something of that sort. And it's very important that we should note that that is completely false. There is absolutely nothing in the Constitution that gives the president literally any power over elections. Remember, the founders, when they wrote the Constitution, they just fought a war against a tyrant seeking their own freedom, and they were very worried about a future despot taking that kind of power. So they created the Elections Clause in the Constitution, which says that the states run elections, and only Congress can change that, and it takes all of Congress to change that. The president plays no role. We've never had to postpone or declare an emergency with any election. We've had, through almost 250 years, every federal general election has gone on as scheduled, through the Civil War, through the influenza pandemic, through 2 world wars, through the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's no legal basis for that. But it also should be noted that there's also no legal basis for the president to declare an emergency about tariffs or about immigration or about some other things that he's declared emergencies for and tried to seize power. And it's taken the courts a little while to catch up to that, to try to stop and rein in the president's excessive use of force.
The president also lately has really been on this crusade against mail-in balloting. He even said earlier this week that a decision to move the command of Space Force from Colorado to Alabama was in part influenced by the idea that Colorado has mail-in balloting. The two he somehow connected. Mail-in balloting has a history with President Trump, does it not?
Yeah, it does. At least in his mind, it does. I mean, he's kind of separated perception from reality here. Mail-in voting has been around since the Civil War. It's been widely embraced by many states, red and blue, red states like Utah and Montana, blue states like Colorado and California. And it was actually initially pushed mostly by Republicans who thought older, property-owning rural voters who they thought of as their voters would find it more convenient to vote by mail. And up until 2020, it was widely embraced by both parties. It was only when President Trump started spreading false claims about mail voting that you saw Republicans retreat from that.
And there was more mail-in balloting during 2020 because it was a COVID-era precaution.
That's exactly right. And but it also, if you look at the mail ballot states in 2016, for instance, as we wrote in the book, the majority of states with significant mail ballots voted for President Trump in the 2016 election. In 2024, there are 36 states plus D.C. that offer no excuse mail voting, and 19 of those states voted for President Trump in 2024. So the reality of mail voting is it's really swings with how the nation swings. People vote how they want to vote, and some of them choose to vote by mail. We also know it's entirely secure, whether you're voting in Utah or whether you're voting in California. The votes are checked, the signatures are checked, sometimes ID numbers are checked. Every voter who registers to vote in the United States has to provide ID when they register to vote. So we've got various checks to make sure it's completely secure.
Although also worth pointing out, President Trump has voted by mail.
Yeah, multiple times. I mean, it was his preferred method of voting, particularly after he moved to Florida.
David Becker, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Major.